What is up, jabronis? What is up, jabronis? JJ back here with Holden, talk a little conference championships in the NFL. As you can see, this stuff is not pre-scripted. Holden is in the middle of doing his little pre-workout. He was basically sniffing smelling salts right before I hit go live. That's why you got the
dude. I just rolled out of bed, put some water in my hair.
Yeah, so
out of here.
And it's funny you mention that because I'm changing up my posture as well because the solo videos for me haven't lost in a few weeks, but these live videos I've lost 2 plays in a row now. So we got to change things up a bit for me. Yeah, I'm not sure if you were aware of the live videos 2 in a row. So for me, I changed it up. As you can see, the hair looks a little wild. I got my water today. No coffee. Yeah. So just slight little subtle adjustments. Your hair is still the same, which I can't blame you.
Dude, I cannot wait to cut this fucking thing. Sorry, it's a free show. I apologize. I can't wait to cut this fucking thing. It is, every morning it's like I've had short hair for the last 25 years. And now it's crazy.
No, it's a mop. It's a mop. You rock it.
I know it is. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, how are you, buddy? I'm so excited. I must admit to all our viewers that this will be the heaviest, this will be the biggest bankroll I've ever invested in a day. And I'm really excited about it. I might be throwing shit at the wall by the end of the day and I might be pissed off, but dude, I'm so excited for these 2 games.
You've had 15 games to pick from for 17 or 18 weeks. You had multiple games to pick from last week and the week before. Mm-hmm. And then on the 2-game slate, that's the day you're the most invested you've been all season. You love to see it.
Horrible idea. But you know what it really did? And I'm not kidding you. It kind of just narrowed down my process. It really did. Not only the process, but just the amount of information I got to sift through. I got to dig in. Usually I'll dig in on 1 or 2 games that I really like. Well, now I got 2 games that I really like.
Yeah.
I don't have a read on the Chiefs Bills very much though. So we'll have to talk it out.
That's good because that's probably where I feel more confident. So maybe this is like a perfect mix today.
How are you hearing me right now? Here, let me ask you something. Does this sound better? Does this sound better?
Yeah, this sounds better. You kind of sounded like you were in the background.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I was very distracted. Now we're good. All right. Sorry for the unprofessionalism. Yeah, I'm only a guy that's been doing this for a long time, and now I'm acting like a jackass. You ready to go, boy? Let's go. Let's get it going.
Yeah. So let's see. You have a lot of bets you like. So are you doing, and before we go into each game specifically, are you doing things that are correlated? Like are you pairing passers with receivers? Or is it just a mixed bag?
Do you want my whole bet sheet right now?
I
don't give a shit.
This is what the show is about, Holden.
Yeah. I'll give you my whole bet sheet right now. Okay. Did you talk about the Josh Allen rushing yards thing? Did you put that on the sheet, or did anybody else? I'm trying to figure out where I figured this idea out.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of rushing quarterbacks. I'm interested to talk to you about Mahomes as well, because they're hanging a really low number for him. And I know that the injury is big and whatever, but man, specifically for a playoff game, it's a super low number for him. But we'll talk about it.
All right, so I got in on Allen at 31.5, and I got back on him at 33.5. I think when you posted it, I was like, all right, if JJ likes it, I like it. The Godwin thing, once Antonio Brown was ruled out, over 5.5.
Talk about that as well, because I also think that opens up some Scotty Miller.
Yeah,
Tyler Johnson more. We'll talk about it, but yeah, who else you got?
Godwin over 5.5, half a unit there. Then I think I tailed you on Packers -3. I already felt good about that. No, I think that was my pick. I tailed you on Green Bay over 13.
Yeah, I don't have any play personally in that Green Bay game.
Never mind. Then that wasn't your play. I'm just giving out my plays. If Sammy Watkins plays, I put a 1/10 of a unit on a first touchdown.
Okay.
At like 1 million to 1.
Okay.
My best bets, Aaron Jones under 14.5 rushing attempts. That's on BetMGM. I will go into that. Tyreek's longest reception, 25.5, 26.5. Got over on both of those. I think they're a little too low for him. And then I need to talk to you about Marquez Valdes-Scantling when we get a chance to get to that.
God, I hate that. I hate that.
I hate him too. I absolutely, literally, I don't think I've called a player a motherfucker more than him this season. Like, he is the motherfucker play of the season. And I can't stand it. and I want to back them. So you're going to have to. I waited for you to talk this one out. Can we go, or which game do you want to start with? Let's start with the early game. Let's
sure.
go.
Let's do it.
Tampa Bay, Green Bay, total 53. Packers, 3-point favorites at home. You know what? You're getting 3.5 at a lot of places too. But if you're back in Tampa Bay, but.
So I think it's a few things. I think number one, I think your casual fan, I guess your casual fan who's not in love with Aaron Rodgers specifically, I think would want to see Tampa win, right? I mean, I think you'd want to see Brady in the Super Bowl. I mean, again, I feel like it's always like almost like the LeBron effect, where like, yeah, part of you doesn't like, even if you don't like Brady, like, don't you want to see him lose a Super Bowl? Like, I mean, now don't get me wrong, if you're an Aaron Rodgers homer, of course you're going to want to see him in there, and they've had a great year. But look, the NFL is set up great regardless. I mean, think about it. You could create a narrative for any Super Bowl that lands here, where people would love to. Like, it's not like the NFL. Like, sometimes you get in these games and like, oh well, if this matchup happens, this wouldn't be good for the NFL. But I mean, either way, people watch the Super Bowl. But you have a mix here in any scenario, whether it's Mahomes, Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady, the Bills who haven't won one with Josh Allen versus either of them. Either way, it'll be fine. Now, here's the thing. I said this last week. I felt very good that the Saints should be able to find a way to win against Tampa. The fact that they turned the ball over 4 times definitely wasn't in the script. But needless to say, I think if I'm the Packers, this would have been the worst matchup I could have gotten in this round of the playoffs. And I say that, I mean, first of all, not that the Packers will lose here. I'm not saying that specifically, but I think as far as matchups go, any other team in the NFC, if I'm the Packers, I would have been content to play at Lambeau. The fact that I got to play Brady, who's won for years in Foxborough. Now, sure, I get it. Brady's record on the road isn't great, so of course that's impacting, right? And it's not like Brady lit up the stat sheet last week. Like, they won because of their defense. I think the Bucs didn't have a scoring drive that started outside the Tampa 40 last week. I think. At minimum, they didn't have a touchdown on drive that started outside the Tampa 40. So, like I said, it's not like this offense. And believe it or not, Green Bay's been like a quietly good defense this year. Like, if you look at their advanced numbers, like, I mean, I know that. And then it's not like they're playing a bad division either in terms of offenses. But needless to say, like, this spot in particular, the reason why I'm saying like it could make it. First of all, Brady owns Rodgers in his career, like overall. And I know it's not a 1v1 league, but like. And you always see this too, right? Like, good quarterbacks just seem to have bad games against like Tom Brady teams. Obviously, it used to be the Patriots for a while, but now this Bucs defense is good. It's comparable to some of these Patriots defenses. What an enigma from Breeze last week. Now, will we get something similar? I don't think we'll get something even close to this from Rodgers today, but you see this all the time where teams just have bad games against Brady and the bunch. Brady doesn't turn the ball over. But look, this spot in particular, I'm really interested to see how good this Bucs offense looks, because if you assume the Packers won't make the same mistakes they made the first time these two played, where Rodgers was just turning the ball over left and right, then look, this should be a competitive game. And the other interesting thing is, we continue to say, is Green Bay, an historically good first half offense, started off really good against Tampa the last time. Then Rodgers started doing that championship belt thing with the moving.
It did not work out.
And they didn't score a single point after that. So interested to see how the game starts. And again, Green Bay's been a really good scripted first half offense, first few drives. So I'm interested to see how that goes. A bet that I was looking at, which seems interesting, and I'm interested in your take. So DraftKings is hanging a 6.5 total touchdowns. Under, it would be a spot I would like there specifically, but it wouldn't be a spot I'd want to jump on early, because I feel like these two teams could score early and then adjustments get made. Tampa Bay's been a really good first half offense. Green Bay's been an historically good first half offense. So it does kind of scare me betting that pregame. But like in game, if these two teams score early, definitely if you can get like a total touchdowns bet live, I wouldn't mind that, especially if you get 2 scores in the first quarter. Definitely wouldn't mind that, because I would expect these defenses to adjust. But from a player prop perspective, how do you see this game going out, Holden?
So under, huh? You like that? You like the under?
Not for the full game. I do think these two start fast, or could start fast. And that would be the reason why I'm a little afraid of it.
All right, so here's the deal. Antoine Winfield Jr., he had the ankle injury last week, and he is a huge, huge play. I believe he's going to play. If he's out, oh my God. If Aaron Rodgers isn't already having a day, we'll take it. But like I said, the Godwin prop right there, 5.5. Packers, I'm on the Packers side of this one. You got your bet, to Aaron Jones again. Let me explain myself on Aaron Jones then. 14.5 carries, right? So first of all, you got a really good run defense in Tampa Bay. I'm not saying that Green Bay isn't going to have an opportunity to run. They're a really good rush defense, and they get Vita Vea back. So a really good rush defense turns into one of the best in the league. They're already one of the best in the league, but now they're really one of the best in the league. So we also get Aaron Jones. If you go look at the game log, and again, every game is different, but he's no lock for 15 carries. Like it's happened more often than not that he's not getting that. Now you add into the mix Jamal Williams, who, if he gets hot, will get the carries. I mean, he will be in there for series. LaFleur, we've seen it. He likes to ride the hot hand. A.J. Dillon's only getting 2 to 4 carries. But again, if he busts a big one, I could see him getting involved. I think there's going to be a lot of passing in this game. I look at that under 14.5 carries, and that's what it is.
And I like that because you see this often with Green Bay too. Like their short game offense isn't always ground and pound. Like they do quick passes with Rodgers to Adams, quick passes. They even get Lazard in that game going. So I don't mind that at all. And especially since it doesn't seem like Aaron Jones is ever playing 3 series in a row ever. Like even sometimes he doesn't even play 2 series in a row. You see him get 1 full series and then out he goes, and in comes Jamal Williams, and then they mix in A.J. Dillon a bit. It is very odd, but need to say I don't mind that at all.
So here's the one I need to talk to you about: the longest reception for Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I cannot stand this guy. You and me are with it, and then the receiving yards. So let's start with the receiving yards. Forget about DraftKings. He's at over 29 at -177. So let's go somewhere over 33.5, -110. He's going to be involved in the offense as much as we can't stand him. We've seen Lazard kind of start to move along, but I mean, 33.5 is probably 2 catches for Valdes-Scantling. Now he's going to drop a ball or 2. He probably dropped 2 touchdowns. Put your hatred aside for a second. Can you see Valdes-Scantling getting to 33.5 yards? Oh,
of course. I mean, a slip up in the defense. I mean, you're right. They're going to take their shots today. He's probably going to get at least 2 to 3 long looks. Now, will Rodgers give him a good throw? Will he catch the ball? I mean, these are just question marks specifically for Scantling that have been all season. So no, I don't mind it at all. It almost seems like, as crazy as it sounds, with Lazard healthier, they're finding more ways to get Scantling a ball deep, which is good for a prop like this for sure. Now,
but here's what I like more. Let me just throw this out at you before you continue. 16.5 yards, longest reception. I mean, this guy does it seemingly every single game. As much as I cannot stand him, and as much as I will likely hold my breath, talk me out of this, please, because I'm very close to hitting the button on this. 16.5 for the longest reception. Please take it from me.
I mean, you would figure even if he caught 1 ball that it would be over that number, right? I mean, if he caught 1 ball. Because those are the routes he runs. He doesn't run a lot. They don't run him a lot of short routes. They run Adams in the short routes. They run Lazard in the short routes. Tanyan, of course, does his stuff around the middle, but he's usually not just roaming down the middle wide open. I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes it is, but for the most part, his routes are shorter. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind that at all. And I would actually like that over prop for longest catch more than his receiving yards prop.
That's actually where I was going with this. So again, I'm probably going to hit it. The juice is 130 now. It's 125 last night. It's not a big shift, but let me just run over his recent longest receptions here. Okay. 52, 78, 47, 0, 21, 0, 72, 12. So he got 8 targets, right? Didn't he get 8 targets last week? He had 4 catches, didn't have the long reception there. He had 12, but he's still really involved in this. And we talk about, all right, I'm hitting it right now. I talked myself into it.
Well, you said the prop is what, 17.5?
16.5.
Yeah. So only twice all year has he caught more than, only twice all year he caught more than 1 pass, and it was less than that number. So in games that he catches a pass, he basically goes over that number.
Well, last week he did.
Except for last week in 1 regular season game.
I'm going to hit it now. Yeah, that's it. I'm in. It's the worst bet I've ever felt making. I'm dirty. I feel dirty. but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I don't mind that at all. I think that the game, I do believe, will play slower, specifically in the second half. So if the game shoots out quickly, which I don't know if it will, but I mean, if it does, that's my biggest fear with betting the full game under, because it'll be tough to if the game seriously shoots out in the first half. Again, you just got two good first half teams. Tampa Bay's defense is usually most susceptible in the first half. Green Bay's offense is usually the best in the first half. So then maybe you start arguing about a potential Green Bay first half bet. But look, the problem with that is this Tampa Bay defense has been good. One turnover, and if Tampa Bay moves the ball efficiently on offense in any regard in the first half, look, you could argue for betting first half over and then live bet second half under. I just personally would prefer to wait and see the first half and then maybe jump in live on the under in the second half, knowing how good these defenses typically are. And look, if one team gets a big lead, the other team's going to try to take the air out of the ball in the second half as well. So, yeah, that would be my look, at least from a spread perspective. I didn't make this bet though, but in game that would be a look I'm aiming for.
Anything else you got from this?
No, I mean, ultimately the inner fan in me wants to see Brady advance here. Just because I think he's the greatest ever, and I'd love to see him in his first year in Tampa make the Super Bowl and then play it at home in Tampa. But look, this Packers team, obviously with Rodgers, Adams, and Jones. I mean, Rodgers is going to be the MVP. They've been tremendous all year. But I've just seen for the last 2 decades, good quarterbacks, when they go up against a Brady team, for whatever reason, struggle. I don't know if it's nerves on the other end or whatever. It's just look at history. I mean, sure, Manning won a few of them, but for the most part, he got wrecked. And you could argue, well, with all those good defenses in New England. But again, Tampa Bay's defense is better than Green Bay's. So, overall, the spread's right. And look, don't go going crazy. Like Holden said, like if you're going to make bets, find some holes in props. Like don't find yourself making a bunch of spread and total bets for these games. If you find something you like, great, but no need to be pounding spreads and totals for these games. These lines are super sharp. Find some holes in props, whether it's unders, overs, and then, move on from there. But again, we'll take any questions you guys have on any player props or derivatives that you guys want to bet or not bet. Happy to answer anything.
I mean, Kirk Gray's just in here talking shit. Holden, you're on the wrong side. Tom went to bed early last night. Everyone's on Green Bay. They're going to choke like last year. Liverpool money line. I like the Liverpool money line. Throw in there. I don't know shit about soccer.
I'll tell you what, Kirk, the whole quote unquote everyone is on nonsense. Like it doesn't. Yeah. It does, first of all, I'll tell you this: in the last 5 or 6 years of me betting sports, this has definitely been the most quote unquote public year winning wise that I can remember in many sports. I mean, and I think it has more to do with, and I'll be honest, Holden, I think this has more to do with the sharper influence, if you will, from other people and other media attention that comes around sports betting. I think what it's done is I think it's moved lines more than they should have or shouldn't have. So like the idea that, the public was right here, the public won here. Number one, it's nonsense because the books are gonna move money just based on money alone. Don't get me wrong, they'll hold a stance on sharper money per se. They're guys that they beat them often, but for the most part, it's just so overblown. It's too buzzwordy. Bet a spot because you like it. Don't bet a spot because everybody's on it or not on it. But like I said, I think the books should see good two-way action in both these games. I can't imagine they're going to be too liable in any facet. There's a lot of people I know that are betting Tampa, specifically a lot of people that are betting big money on Tampa money line. So as far as where books are liable or not, I'm going to fade this, I'm going to fade that. Just bet what you want to bet. Don't let yourself be influenced by social media marketers.
Take that, Kirk Gray. Actually, I like him a lot. He's been there all year. He's got a Bills pick in the chat too. We can talk about that when we get to that game. But
yeah, Perez, I don't mind the under in the game. My only concern is, again, if these teams start quick, you'll be able to get a better number. Now they might start slow, and I guess I can't mind the under because I do like it. I just feel like you're gonna be able to get a better spot on it betting live. So I'm gonna wait to see if we get a few early scores.
Sauce Boss, anybody feel like Green Bay's on upset alert? I mean, again, this is what we're hearing. This is what we heard last week too, though, and it was silly. Now, this is not going to be nearly as drastic as last week was, but we heard guys that were on the Rams. We heard guys that were on the Browns. Now, the Browns thing almost worked out because Henny was in there. You almost got lucky, but what was the Rams pick? So again, I just think this is Aaron Rodgers' year, man. I think he's going all the way. He's got Adams. Tunyon has come along. Their running game's fine. Defensively, as you said, once they got healthy in the secondary, everything changed. That's what it is. King came back. Yeah, and everything changed from there. So, again, I could be wrong. Have been a lot. Pretty strong conviction Green Bay today. I like them a lot at home. So
I do think this, and this is just for a correlated standpoint with how you guys want to bet. I don't think the Packers win this game. Or let me be clear. I don't think the Packers lose this game if they go over their team total. So their team total is, I think, 27.5. Okay. If they go over 27.5, I don't think they lose this game. So you can maybe make correlated bets, like maybe bet Tampa money line and then bet Green Bay over their team total. There's a chance both hit, I guess. But I truly don't believe Tampa scores like 30 today and then beats Green Bay in a shootout. I think if Tampa's going to win this game, it's because you're going to see a lot of head-scratching things happen on the Packers offense, whether it's turnovers at ill-timed, whether it's Rodgers under pressure, whether it's a fumble in the middle of a big scoring drive, whether it's a special teams touchdown that they allow. I just think that if Green Bay was to win this game, if Green Bay goes over their team total, they're likely, and I know it's like, oh, well, that sounds obvious. Well, not really. If you think it's going to shoot out, I don't think Tampa wins a shootout is what I'm getting at. I think if Tampa wins this game, it's going to be more low scoring. So if you like the under, I'd assume you probably like Tampa. And if you like the over, I'd assume you like Green Bay. But just wanted to give you a little insight there.
All right. Are we done with this one? I think we broke it down from every angle. I like it, JJ. JJ, nice hair, by the way. Did you get a haircut? Did you do it by yourself?
This is like the sex hair, to be honest.
Did you get laid last night? You hit the workbench?
No, negative.
You said it was sex head. What is this?
I mean, I said it looks like sex hair. It's just a facade. I mean, I'm not out here. Look, I wish I could sit here and say I'm getting poon all the time, but it's just not how life works.
Poon? Who talks like that? Who uses poon?
Poon. I feel
like that was used in Vietnam. Like poon.
It's a classy word, Holden. Okay?
It's not a
classy word.
So hold on a second. You and your future wife, do you just go up to her and be like, "Hey, I want your poon"? Yeah. Like, who talks like that, JJ? Who does that?
It's poon time. It's poon time. Yeah. Look,
I'm getting asked.
Read a book, Holden. Okay, it's all about being worldly. Okay.
I don't even know what that means. I don't know what worldly means. Yeah, it's definitely a Jersey thing. I'd love to continue to talk about this. I really enjoyed the poon conversation, but let's move on to Buffalo and Kansas City. KC -3. You can see it at 3.5. 54.5 is the total, JJ.
Yeah, so
it's turf toe from Mahomes. Before we get into this, turf toe from Mahomes, it doesn't scare me. This guy is a robot. He played with a dislocated hip or a knee, or his knee was literally, or his ankle was sideways, and he played. He's fine.
Let's hypothetically say, before I go into my favorite bet for today, let's hypothetically say that you thought his turf toe somehow is just as bad as it was last week. Like, it didn't heal at all. It's just as bad as it was when it happened last week. Mm-hmm. He scurried for like 18 yards, like five plays after he hurt his toe. So like the people that are like, oh, his toe, I want to bet his rushing prop under. They're not going to run him. It's a playoff game. I'm not saying he's going to go under his prop or over, but like you can't, the books have adjusted this number. His number in this type of game is usually like 29.5, 28.5. It's like 15. So if a play breaks down, it's a playoff game. He's going to scramble. And if the 15 yards is in front of him, he's going to run for all 15 yards. Now, the only thing you worry about with Mahomes is, and the memories of the Super Bowl last year happen, this dude takes QB kneels like nobody else. Okay.
Like 8 yards at a time. Yeah. You can't take his rushing prop.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind that if they're up late, I know it's only a small sample. He only did that one time, but it's got to be a lasting memory that you're probably going to need him to be like 15 yards over late, to accommodate. But ultimately, I personally wouldn't be scared off him entirely. Sure, Kansas City's not going to like design him a run. You would think they wouldn't, but he's one of those guys that when he does run, it's usually a decent sized run. And I don't think the turf toe is going to make him just not run at all. So just keep that in mind. Again, I don't like his over, but I can't defend his under primarily because he's dealing with turf toe. Because I saw him last week scamper for 18 yards a few plays after it happened. So he'd be willing to run. Now, as far as my favorite bet for this game, so I could have given you a player prop or whatever, but grab my balls. We'll give you a play action. I'll give you a play actually like for the game. And it wasn't a shot at you, Holden.
Oh, it's a total shot at me. He goes, I actually get the poon. Look at this guy. I got a girlfriend. This guy right here is intermittent. I mean, that's just horrible. You totally were taking a shot at me, and I don't mind though. I deserve it.
I know it came off like that. That wasn't the agenda. Like, I rehearsed it in the mirror how I was going to take that shot. No, but so for me, Kansas City first half -2.5. And I know it's like, I guess I don't even know if it's chalky. I wouldn't even know what chalky. I don't follow that. I wouldn't know what's chalky or what's not. But specifically, the first half for me this is a Kansas City team since I believe November 22nd. Hasn't given up more than 10 points in the first half. Included in that was Buffalo. Now, the Buffalo game they played the first time of the year, Holden, I do kind of scratch that because of a scheduling issue with Buffalo. Like Buffalo played like their third game in 9 days. It was something weird where they got force-fed that game on a Tuesday. So and the weather wasn't great. Weather will be much better today. But I do like Kansas City first half specifically because this defense early in games has been a lot better than people think. Or at least people assume. Like people always talk Kansas City and they talk up the good offense. Their defense in the first half has been really good. The problem is I do worry a bit with a Buffalo offense that's been really good early in games. So that's why I don't want to bet Buffalo's team total under in the first half. I know it was 12.5. I'm a little afraid to bet that under because of how good they've been. But I do think Kansas City scores points, and I do think their defense bend but doesn't break early in the game. So I think Kansas City. And by the way, I know that you might think that if you bet Kansas City first half last week, kind of got lucky with the Higgins touchdown, but like that field goal Kansas City hit at the end, that would have been the cover anyway. And also Kansas City missed an extra point, which would have cost the first half too. Either way, I think this Kansas City offense, again, an Andy Reid led offense with Mahomes obviously throwing the football, has been so good early in games. And I just think overall they get enough points on the board and they hold Buffalo to a little bit of a struggle early on. So that's why I like them in the first half. Now, as for why not the full game, here's the thing, Con. I'm not truly and here's an interesting note on this game, Holden, in general. If you took the names off both these teams, like you didn't know who they were, you were just looking at stats, didn't know what team was, we'll call them team A, team B. I mean, I'd make the argument Buffalo should be like a road 4-point favorite here in this game. But because we all know what the Chiefs are and what they can be, I think we discredit their last 9 games of the year. Like their 9 games where they've been 0-8-1 against the spread, where they haven't won a single game by more than 6 points, where they've let down in every second half of every game, where they sometimes come out in first halves and just looked like they wanted nothing to do with the game. I think because of the Chiefs and because we know it's Andy Reid calling the plays and Pat Mahomes throwing the football, that we just like discount all of it. But like, if it wasn't the Chiefs, I truly believe with how Buffalo's been the second half of the year. I mean, Buffalo has 6 straight double-digit wins. Buffalo's been averaging almost 35 points a game their last 8 or 9 games. Mm-hmm. And that includes his 17-point, head scratcher versus the Ravens. Overall, I personally trust Andy Reid and Mahomes specifically in the first half of this game. Why I don't want to do the full game is because I think if the Chiefs are going to do well, it's going to be early. I think if the Chiefs are somewhat smoke and mirrors, and I say that not because I don't think they're good. I just look at what the numbers say. The numbers say Buffalo's a better team, but can you really believe the numbers? It's like a perception versus reality thing, right? And I say, can you believe the numbers? Because let me ask you this, Holden, how much do you believe of what you've seen over the Chiefs from the last 9 weeks?
I think that everything that they were doing in the regular season, I thought it was going to go away last week. And I thought it was going away last week before the Mahomes injury. So I'm kind of trashing the regular season. We say that they were just sleepwalking, man. It's like, okay, we're down by 7. Let's turn it on. All right, good. Let them backdoor cover. I mean, they obviously don't give a shit about who covers, but they were sleepwalking through the season, man. I mean, and listen, I love Eric Bieniemy, and I think Eric Bieniemy does deserve to be a head coach. But this offense for the caliber of talent they got, I thought it underachieved a little bit, to be completely honest with you. That's my take.
And that's the big thing, right? Because I think that's your 2 mindsets you have. And I'm more on your mindset as well in terms of I just think they've not so much purposely have been underachieving. They just maybe it's lacking of motivation with a big lead. They just don't need to put their foot on they don't feel they need to put their foot on the gas with games they've led in. And when they need to put their foot on the gas, they do. The problem is that this Buffalo team with the way they've been playing, this is really not the team to screw around with. Like, this is not a team, they screw around, they could go down 3 touchdowns. Like, if they legitimately screwed around, they could go down 3 touchdowns. But realistically, well, let me ask you this, Holden. If I told you tomorrow one of these teams blew out the other,
Chiefs.
Wouldn't you think the Chiefs, right? Like, there's really no scenario. Like, even if Buffalo got out to a 21-0 lead, like, Kansas City would come back. Like,
unless Mahomes has to leave the game. And that's it. I mean, and it's a possibility with turf toe, and I'm not worried about, whatever happened with his head or anything last week, but I can't go into a game betting thinking that Mahomes is gone. I got to go in there thinking he's playing the whole game. So, yeah, I mean, do I see Buffalo blowing them out? No. Do I see Kansas City blowing Buffalo out? No, absolutely not. But if one team's blowing the other one out, JJ, that's your question. Yeah, the Chiefs could blow them out.
Because that would be my logic. I would think that, like, I don't think there's any scenario where Buffalo blows out Kansas City. But anyway, as far as props, what do you like for props in this game, Holden?
Oh, what do we got here? We got Tyreek's longest reception over 25.5, 26.5. By the way, are you on Kansas City -1.5? Is that what it is in the first half?
First half, I got it at 2.5. It's down. If it's down at 1.5, that's excellent. For
you really like that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll throw a full unit on it then. Seems like, not bad. Okay, give me 1 sec. God, I'm betting during the show too. This is, I hate using the word degenerate, but I feel like a degen right now because we're trying to make sports betting mainstream, and it's not like horse racing people where they sit there at the horse races and they got no teeth and they smell like shit. We're trying to make this a little classy, which is why we talk about, JJ talked about Poon. I mean, again, I don't get it. You're confused over there. What's wrong? What's up?
Oh, no, I'm looking at a few different things on my screens.
Okay. But it's on DraftKings. I found it -1.5, -110. Tyreek over 25.5. And then I got back in at 26.5 on his longest reception. He just does it. He does it. And I'm normally not a longest reception guy, but I think at this point, like, we narrow it down so much with just 2 games, and I get a chance to dig in even more to this game. That's one pass. That's it. He should get it. So yeah, I'll go with Tyreek over 25.5. I think it's at 26.5. I was fine with it at 26.5. I told you about the Watkins thing, the first touchdown. He might not even play, but the odds were so high, and he could find the box. And then Josh Allen's rushing props. I would not go over 33.5 personally.
What do you lean here? Game over or game under? Full game?
I have no. I'm not going to give a lean when I don't have one. I don't do it. I'm not going to give you guys bad advice purposefully, just accidentally. So
I think overall, if you were looking for a lean, for me, I lean the first game under and the second game over. Just a lean.
Okay, just a lean. Yeah, this to me is a much more difficult game to handicap. I think overall it's much tougher. But I do think that, like I said, I like the KC angle. And look, this is where the rubber meets the road, right? If KC's really been sleepwalking through the first few games, then for me this is where they'll really perform, or where they really should perform. Now, will they? Again, that's what I think really comes down to. If Buffalo if we know Buffalo's for real. If Kansas City is really better than what we've seen over the last 8-9 weeks, they should win easily today. Otherwise, Buffalo could definitely give them a run. So, I mean, that's where I am. You've been killing it, not only in football, but like college hoops. I always like watching your plays on the sheet because college hoops, first halves, for whatever reason. You know what? Let's do it. We're at the end of the season anyways. Can you give a little process lesson, please? I think our viewers deserve it. I want to get your process just like how you come up with the first half and the second half. And it seems like it's easy. It'll be correlated, but how do you come up with your first half bets? And then of course you usually throw a full game bet on there, but
you talking for college basketball?
Even college basketball, NFL, just anything.
I'm not really a big first half bettor in sports. The reason I'm doing it in college specifically is what I've seen a lot this year with games is first of all, for college hoops in particular, just like the NBA, well, it's more on college versus the NBA, the markets for totals in college basketball is, and by the way, that's my dad trolling under our account. If you see him post, is he
there?
Oh, it's him trolling. I gotta call him and tell him to shut the hell up.
Did he watch the interview with you? Perchance, did the fax man possibly do that?
He probably did not.
Why would you not watch the interview with your son when we talked about you wanting to shoot your load out the window instead of having a wonderful son like JJ. I mean, it really is amazing, Fax Man. Please view his interview. It's called Inside the DFS Studio. JJ opened up about a lot of dark things, including Poon. So you were saying.
Yeah, I was just saying with first halves in particular. So for me, I'm always a full game better in college basketball. This year in particular, though, games have a lot of games.
I just said, blow me in all caps.
I don't watch. A lot of games late for college hoops this year have ballooned, specifically later in games. So for me, and again, that's how your second half. That's why your second half totals are padded. So your second half totals typically have about 8 to 9 more points than your first halves. And for me, it's all about betting tempo with certain teams and how mixes of tempo. Because again, you can't predict whether guys are going to make or miss shots, but I feel like you can better predict tempo in terms of how many shots will get up, how quick possessions will be. Certain teams want to play faster. Certain teams want to play slower. Certain teams play faster at home, slower at home. I think these are things that are more easily predictable than actual shooting percentages. So for me, I'm looking for projected tempo. And considering tempo is a big thing for me, I'd rather take the smaller number in the first half versus the full game. Because the full game total, again, it assumes that you're going to get into a little bit of a free throw contest late. And specifically in college, I haven't seen that this year. This has been the year more than ever that I bet first halves. And again, I don't bet first halves, but you've seen the success with it. Specifically, is primarily because I just think this year you're seeing teams lay down late, and I don't know why. But you just make a slight adjustment to it. But otherwise, I'll go back to full games. Probably, like I said this in the Discord, I'll be going back to full games next week or so. I'm assuming that kind of gets back to normal. But teams just aren't fouling in most games like they used to. That's why I've been preferring first half totals.
All right. Do we have anything else to get to? I got to tell you, I've had a lot of fun. This show has been a lot of fun, not just for the season like today. I think it's a lot of fun, especially your dad. Like, why doesn't your dad hop in here for a second? Can't you get him the link and he'll come in and just, call us both shitheads and leave? If it's a 1 minute cameo.
If it was that simple, I would, but it's all a process. He doesn't understand technology. It's all a process. It's all like, and he'd rather type in here. He'd rather type in here than actually be on.
I mean, what a pussy. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud? Sorry to diss your father, but I mean, he told me to blow him, so I don't mind. We're on a different level now. By the way, Fax Man, I used to live where you live right now. Go to Laporta's. Best place. Tell them I sent you. They love me there. Best jazz steakhouse in your area. It's like 5 minutes from your house. So depending on what part of it.
It's over in Alexandria?
Yeah, it's in Alexandria. Yeah. I lived in Alexandria for 2 years in D.C. I couldn't stand it, but it's a really nice place.
Nice.
It's where we'll just leave it at that. All right, cool.
All right, yeah, so we got Holden's best bet was Aaron Jones under the 14.5 rushing attempts.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Kansas City first half minus the 2.5. All in all, though, guys, as always, gamble responsibly. And, don't limit your bets today. Obviously, it's only 2 games. But need to say thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully our bets hit for you.
And that's just going off in the chat.
And look, stay safe, everybody. We'll see you. Actually, me and Holden will start doing some college basketball vids over the next few weeks, so stay tuned for that. But yes, as always, gamble responsibly and stay safe.